When I was 18 or 21, I can't remember which, Mum paid for me to have my fortune told by, I've said this before in the recordings, Mir Bashir, Indian fortune teller in London, who was costly, well known, and he said, you'll live abroad. Well, I've emigrated from England to New Zealand, didn't I, when I was sort of 42 or something, and you'll have 3 children. I have. Didn't mention I have 3 wives, not one. I was hoping it was going to be 1 wife, but still. Not him, but some other fortune teller told me, where I worked in an amusement arcade called the Kurzel. Now she was, by reputation, her reputation as she gave it, a Romany gypsy. She was young, daughter of Mum, who did the real fortune telling, I think it was them. I think it was Mum, in fact, to come think of it. And this was earlier than my 20th or 18th birthday. This was when I was more like 11, 12, 13. So you have a very long life and break many hearts. She meant I'd have many relationships, but also that I didn't take it that she meant I would break hearts, because I've hated the idea of being unfaithful. That's been anathema to me. And I took it to mean, well, I'd be the sort of guy that ladies fell for, And I didn't think much more of it, because I was only a very young adolescent, and just didn't think it through. I do so earnestly and utterly hope that I haven't broken many hearts. I do know there are some girlfriends I didn't stay with, and I may not have been. I just wasn't mature, was I? I have always been resolved so earnestly not to harm, not to hurt, not to bring distress, to love and to care, and to be faithful. So I hope I understood my fortune teller in the right way. Not just that if the hearts were broken, it wasn't because of me, but that in fact their hearts were not broken. I know the wives that have left me have been desperately upset at times, though I think that was after they had left me. They were just horrible to me prior to leaving. Let me say in their defense, much of the rest of the time they were wonderful, and I wouldn't be without them for the world. So there you go. The pattern of life. Well, everyone's life is individual, isn't it? Thank you, Heavenly Father. Thank you for this fantastic experience of living. Sorry, I'm not signing off now. I'm not about to die as far as I know. I'm not writing my obituary. Be mindful to leave a trail of love and kindness as you move through life. Care and help. I've been helped by so many people. Secular and religious. blessed by some wonderful women, but some wonderful men too. I've not used that phrase for men in the past, but such good friends, so earnest, such a blessing, so helpful. Make sure that that's how you're resolved to be. That's what counts. Thank you, Heavenly Father. Some disorder in the historicity of that data in that recording. The actual mum actually went to a fortune teller when I was just a young teenager, something like 12, and she read my hand as well as mum's and said, he'd break many hearts, sort of thing, and lived to a great age. She didn't say anything about having 3 children, I don't think, or at least didn't register with me, and being connected with fame and that sort of thing. I guess Mum was always interested in fortune telling because she was always desperate about her circumstances. In fact, Mum was always often suicidal. And you can imagine desperate concern to me because, a child doesn't want to lose the parent that is everything to their security and love as far as they can see. So, quite stressful childhood. Used to dread weekends when the parents would be warring with each other. Rows, not much in the way of physical violence, quite honestly. My mum was more physically violent than Dad. And we laugh at that now, but now I've experienced the problem of when a wife really is dangerous towards you. It's not a laugh. You have the police come to protect you. It's ridiculous. You're 6'4" and she's under 5 foot and you're the one with blood on you. That's a bit graphic, but to some extent that was true. That's an aside though, isn't it? So yeah, the chronology of this is a bit mixed up. I did have contact with Romani Gypsy lady's family when I was working at the Cursor, but that was when I was something like 16. So that would have been a few years later. And I can't remember the contents actually of any fortune telling she told me then. But I do remember Mir Bashir, of course. And I do remember the other, when I was sort of 12-ish, as reported. Now, funny enough, that's why it was confusing. The one at 12 years old was again a lady at the Cursor. Mum happened to be visiting there. Presumably she went to see a fortune teller there deliberately. Can't remember now the details. But it was the same place as I was at later, at 16. That's the confusion. Well, it's of no interest to you, is it? It doesn't matter. What matters is that one, realize the supernatural is not fantasy. It's not well defined, and it's not well reported even, and it's confusing. But there's more things in heaven and earth than you or I have ever dreamed, which was a favourite saying of my mum. Not biblical, of course. And secondly, it's absolutely cardinal to your peace of mind that you pursue a life of loving kindness or you won't just die alone, you'll die in despair. Unless you're fortunate enough to be run over by a bus. To be a bit clearer, what I mean is, if you don't have what you feel to be an utterly valid meaning to your life, you are courting despair. Discouragement and despair will quite vanquish you. If your life doesn't have meaning or enough meaning, it is your priority. And if you don't engage yourself in that priority, you will reap a very unhappy harvest, except by the grace of God. And that's also always possible, of course. But be reasonable. Pursue loving kindness. Be a blessing wherever you go. That you hold yourself in high regard. I know that sounds like an appalling lack of humility. But you're going to have to live with yourself forever. So, do things in good faith. Do what you can towards what you think is right. You'll find God does all the rest for you. And I have utter confirmation of that sweeping over me now. And it's brought tears to my eyes. Thank you, Heavenly Father.